Ooh, where are we? The walk back from the university was truly lovely. London was a big city, but just like New York City, there were green places here and there for everyone to enjoy. They do like their parks. A full course load for British students would normally be 3 courses, or modules, in a semester. Because of the special working arrangements with the program I was signed up for, I was only taking 2. That way I could be sure to have enough study time to keep my grades up. If I fell behind, my student visa would be cancelled and I would be sent home. Not every course was valid for credit back in the US, since some were too specific to the British legal or financial structure, but most of the time, education was education. In any case, I had 1 course in technology and 1 in literature. Someday soon, I would need to get acquainted with the university library, but for now I needed to get on to work. Transport. After a hard day's work, finally, it was dinner time. I can't wait. The hostel had a dining area where everybody could eat, next to the kitchen. People could order in or could gather together to eat a group meal. With that in mind, I crept into the kitchen, hoping to find something simple I could make. Hey, everybody. When I entered, I discovered Angelo, Peggy, and Ashley were sitting around the larger table, each taking something from a platter of vegetables and noodles. Oh! Another guy I hadn't met before was also there. That must be Mark, the one Danny said was cute, because hello. Are you wearing like a lantern necklace? Because that's cool.
I really hope you like it. I worked hard on it.
It's free food. I'll definitely like it. You'd make a good wife, Ashley.
Damn.
You think so?
Ashley flushed as Angelo laughed heartily.
You belong in the Stone Age, Angelo.
What? It was a compliment. She's not mad about it.
That's beside the point.
And that set them both off, shouting insults back and forth. Mark, sitting nearby, watched with wide eyes. I tried to figure out a way to casually approach and join the group, but I wasn't sure what to do. It'd probably look bad if I just walked up and asked to eat some of their food, especially since I didn't help make it. Maybe it would be better to come back later and take a peek in the fridge. I started out of the kitchen, but before I could make it out the door, I locked eyes with Ashley.
Oh, Malia! Are you hungry? I made stir-fry if you want some. I'm sure there's plenty for all of us.
Really? Are you okay with that?
Of course!
Despite Ashley's assurances, I glanced at the others. Peggy and Angela were still at each other's throats, but Mark offered me a smile and gestured to the seat next to him. I sat down nervously. Thank you. It looks really good. Ashley got a plate from me and spooned food onto it, while Mark got me a glass of water. Man, service.
Just can't comprehend that your way of life is totally...
Maybe if you calmed down a little, it wouldn't be so...
Don't mind them. They've been at it all day.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I'm sure they both mean well.
It's interesting to see people with such dynamic opinions.
And you guys aren't going to stop them?
I don't want to get involved. I don't like to fight with anyone.
I glanced at Mark, who shrugged.
Everything ends one way or another. I mean, these kinds of things are interesting to discuss, but as long as it's not directly affecting me, it doesn't have any meaning.
What? What did that mean? There was an odd tension in the air. A few seconds later, I realized Peggy had stopped arguing with Angelo and was instead staring at Mark.
How can you say that you don't care about anything that doesn't affect you personally? Does that mean if you saw someone in pain, you wouldn't do anything to help them because it wasn't you who was hurting?
Oh? No, that's not what I meant. I just meant that if how someone else is behaving isn't causing direct harm, or if it's just a theoretical concept that isn't harming anyone in practice that I can see, I won't bother with it.
But theoretical concepts can harm people.
I suppose.
Well?
Mark seemed to consider Peggy's point for a few moments, then shrugged.
Nah. I can't really be bothered.
Oh! Peggy stood and grabbed her half-full plate. I can't stand people like you! She marched off in a huff. Angelo chuckled as he watched her go.
Thanks for having my back, man.
Angelo held out his hand for a high five. Mark looked at it with interest.
Your palm is quite nice, but I wasn't doing it for you. It does seem pointless, don't you think? What? I mean, everyone dies. Life is short. So I don't think you should argue so much. It's a waste of time.
Angelo grunted and went back to his food.
Well, Mark, since you're new here, how do you like it?
It is very nice. Everyone is very friendly.
Aw, that's sweet. Don't you think, Angelo?
Angelo grunted again. He didn't seem particularly interested in the conversation anymore.
Well, anyways, what brought you here, Mark?
Mark frowned.
Exploration.
Oh, that's nice. Are you at uni, or did your family send you here?
I don't think that's important enough to spend time talking about.
He tilted his head to the side and smiled.
I don't like people prying into my past, if you don't mind.
I set my fork down, surprised. Did Mark want everybody to hate him, or was he seriously just accidentally pissing everybody off? Probably the latter. Ashley, her cheeks gone pale from nerves? Anxiety? Anger? Nodded and picked up her plate.
I'm going to go clean up now. It was nice eating with you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much for your food and conversation. I hope we can do this again.
Ashley shot him a puzzled glance. Angelo stood and handed his plate to Ashley, then lumbered out of the room. With nobody else left, Mark turned to me. Oh boy, can't wait for you to, piss us off too.
So, what brings you here?
He seemed almost cheerful, as if completely unaware of what he'd just done. Did you not notice what just happened there?
What do you mean?
Well, direct is probably the best. Do I explain it to him now, though, when I'm not on his route? And Danny was, you know what? We'll leave you alone for now. We'll do the you insulted everyone thing later. It's nothing. Mark searched my eyes and started nodding.
I see.
What? What do you see?
This has happened before, you know. I do not like people who clearly keep things from me.
Wait, but I mean, you did kind of insult everybody earlier. You clearly didn't make them feel good. Mark paused and shook his head.
Sorry, but I think I should leave. Have a nice meal.
Then he, like everybody else, took his plate and left. Well, that was a great dinner, wasn't it? I finished my food alone. I'm studying now, too. Cute. Oh. I ran into Aussie in the hallway. I waved to her, trying to be friendly, but she just looked at me with disgust. So much for that, then. I tried. Next day. Flying through. Hey, Angie. Ready for work today?
Yeah.
I frowned. Usually if I called Angelo Angie, he would immediately complain, that's a girl's name, not mine. It was basically a running joke by now, but this time I only got silence. You feeling up to it today?
Yeah.
He avoided my eyes, staring at the floor.
I'll wait by the elevator.
And then he left for the hall. What was going on with him? Angelo, you're distracting me again. As the day wore on, it only got worse. Angelo, can you pass me that cloth? He grabbed the cloth and held it in the direction of my voice, staring at the floor. Toss it here. He threw it without even aiming, and I squeaked. I leapt to one side, catching it out of the air and narrowly avoiding knocking a glass of water onto a guest's laptop. What's wrong with you? Do you not see what almost happened?
What are you talking about?
Now he was looking at me angrily. You almost ruined that computer. We could have lost our jobs.
But nothing happened, so it's fine.
Why have you been acting weird all day? What's up with you? He scuffed his feet on the floor. I'm not going to finish doing this room until you tell me. You can do all the work yourself if you want, but I'm waiting. He looked at me, eyes knitted together in desperation. He glanced at the bed, the dresser, the bathroom, then back at me, bouncing up and down like a little boy.
Fine. Fine. I'm annoyed that people are so constantly treating me like a girl. I don't look like a girl, do I? But because of a mistake with my name, people assumed I was a woman. And now I'm forced to do women's work day in, day out.
I still didn't think that was the reason the program assigned him to work here. Ashley worked at the pub and she was definitely a woman, but he was so fixed on this stupid idea. What's wrong with women's work?
There is nothing wrong with women's work. I respect it, and women, very much. But I am not a woman. I wouldn't ask a woman to do my job. That would be disrespectful towards her. I am being made to do a woman's job, which is disrespectful towards me. Before you came, I accepted this mistake, but recently it has begun to grate on me.
What makes you think it's disrespectful? Angelo looked at me as if I had grown a second head.
Of course it is disrespectful. I would never ask my sisters to do my work at home. I helped them carry the heaviest groceries, and they did my laundry without protest. I would not ask them to move the furniture or carry out repairs in the house. If they stepped in to finish my work, it would mean I hadn't done my job quickly enough and they were impatient. It was an insult in a way. If one of us overstepped our boundaries, it meant we weren't being capable. We were not being good women and men. So of course it is disrespectful.
I see. Get over it! Alright. We gotta make choices. We gotta get off this. As much as I love you, Angelo. I mean, telling him to get over it might be a good thing on his route anyway. I don't know Angelo enough yet to know if he would be insulted if we apologize or if he would be touched by it, so this is a good way to get a feel for him. I don't even know what you mean by being good women and men. Women and men can do whatever they like. They can share the same jobs. It's not a big deal. Angelo frowned at me.
Of course they can. In fact, we are doing it now. But that doesn't change the fact that it is disrespectful towards me.
I shook my head. No, you're not getting it. It's not disrespectful, not in the real world. There's no such thing as women's work, just work.
In the real world? Are you saying I've been living in a playpen until now?
No! But your family isn't the universal standard. Most people have progressed beyond that point.
So my family has no progress now? You think we are primitive, backwards? Do you think my family oppresses my sisters? Are my mama and my sisters being kept in tow by me? You don't know anything about how my family lives or what my life is like. I love my sisters.
That's not...
Please, let's finish the room now.
He went into the bathroom and turned on the bathtub's water. He wouldn't hear me over that unless I was shouting at him. Okay. I kind of thought we would get into dangerous territory with that, and I am pleased to see my assumption was correct. Frustrated, I grabbed my cloth and resumed dusting the dressers. The rest of the day passed by well enough. Since Angelo had gotten everything off his chest, I hoped he could now see how silly he was being. Regardless, we finished work early and headed for home. Okay. We'll try that conversation again another time. Someone was knocking on my door. Hey, the man of the hour.
Hey, Malia. I'm just making the rounds to top up the loo roll.
To do what? He handed me 2 rolls of toilet paper. Oh, thanks. There's usually some stored in the kitchen, but James won't stock too much in case someone nicks it. Try not to run out. Yeah, that would be awkward. He waved and headed on to the next door down. Well, thanks, Danny. It's been a while since we've seen you. It was the first thing in the morning. I had barely woken up when I heard a soft knock on my door. Oh, hi. I opened it and looked out to see Mark. Yes? What are you doing here?
Hello. So... I wanted to apologize.
Apologize? For what?
The other night at dinner. After reflecting a bit on what you said, I realized that you were correct. I insulted everybody at the table, including you, and was rude about it. I didn't see the error of my own ways. I'm apologizing to everybody else as well, but I wanted to make sure you knew that I appreciated your words.
I wasn't sure how to respond. To tell the truth, I was shocked. It was such a direct, simple, straightforward apology. I rarely ever received a straightforward apology, even in situations that deserved it, like a huge fight among friends or family. Now a total stranger was apologizing to me for remarks most people would simply have forgotten about. Well, thank you.
It's no problem, but may I tell you something?
I blinked at him, and after a moment's hesitation, he continued.
I have been very confused. I don't think I can talk to people very well normally without them becoming angry. Since the other night, I've been noticing it in almost everybody I talk to.
It was worse than I thought.
It's been a bit of a problem because I think everyone's avoiding me now. People are not so sensitive in France as they are here.
He laughed merrily, but I didn't see the joke. Was he French then? He didn't sound French to me. Maybe I was too used to parody French accents.
Well, I don't want to put on a charade and pretend to be something I'm not, or to respond less than honestly to them. But my genuine responses seem to arouse anger. It's a conundrum. What should I do about it?
Most people tell little white lies. I mean, it's definitely the phrasing. You know what? We can go down the list with you because you're down for us on our to-do list. So, how should I know? I responded gruffly. How should I know? I just wanted the conversation to end, but he hit his fist against his palm as if realizing something.
I guess you wouldn't. You seem to get on well with people without even trying. I'm a little jealous.
He didn't even notice I was being rude. Who was this man? How is this possible?
It seems I'll have to give this more thought. Anyways, thank you for your help. You are a very kind person. I know, or well, I realize that I'm probably not the easiest person to deal with. Thank you for dealing with me.
He beamed at me, and my heart felt oddly lighter and guilty.
You know, I'm usually by myself reading books in the library, up in the philosophy section. You should come visit me sometime.
He waved happily and skipped off down the hallway. Considering he was now aware that no one around here liked him, it was odd that he was so happy. Oh well, with that done, it was time to get on with my day. I mean, works for me. I had just finished eating when Peggy sprinted, yes, she squinted, into the dining room. Upon seeing me, she lunged for my hands. Malia, I need your help! Okay. With what? Danny has team tryouts today, football tryouts, and I want to try, but I don't want to go alone. Scared I'll make an idiot of myself, do you know what I mean? I know you're into sport and we're part of some teams back in the States. Won't you go with me? Joining his team would be a great way to impress Danny and spend more time with him. And possibly Peggy as well. Yeah. Sure, why not?
Malia, thank you so much. I knew I could count on you. We'd better get going then.
Wait, it's happening right now?
Of course, come on.
Alright, this is really pretty. Peggy took me by the hand, jogging down the street into the nearby park, explaining as she went.
It's a university team, but not the university team, and we're allowed to go since we're technically part of the university, despite you not being from England, so it totally works out. Danny's the captain, as you'd expect from him, and the team is open to men and women, which is why we can both apply.
The day was pretty mild for January, but it was still chilly outside. Though, I suppose if we were going to be playing soccer, we'd warm up fast enough. I mean, Peggy is wearing a tank top. She rounded a corner into the park, and a set of bleachers appeared, along with a ragtag group of people nearby. Danny stood before them, hands on his hips. Next, we'll have a basic skirmish, so I can get a feel for how you work together. Everyone nodded and assumed positions, which must have been assigned sometime beforehand.
Danny!
Peggy waved enthusiastically, and Danny looked at us in surprise.
Hey, what are you two doing here?
What do you think? We're here to try out for the team.
A wry smile crossed his face.
Are you now?
Yes, we are. What, don't think we can do it?
I didn't say that. If you're really up for it, you two can join the team on the right. Peggy, take over as goalkeeper. Malia, you can be a forward.
But... Will do!
Peggy dashed away, and I was left standing awkwardly in front of Danny, not sure what to do.
Everything all right?
I don't really know how to play soccer. At least, not league soccer, and not officially. I played with friends, but soccer was never my sport.
Oh, you'll figure it out. If you get near the ball, kick it. Otherwise, try not to get knocked down.
He clapped me on the back, smiling. If it wasn't for his friendly and open attitude, I would have thought he wanted me to fail. For laughs. Yes. So the skirmish happened. It was probably one of the most embarrassing things I had ever done. I wasn't used to being bad at sports. I had always had a knack for them and took to them easily, from track to swimming to basketball. Or so I thought, but soccer was something different. I relate to this strongly. I also, take to sports very quickly. I'm not fantastic, but I get, to a certain point very quickly. That's good. But soccer, I always end up getting kicked in the face by the ball. And me and soccer don't get along very well. I wasn't as coordinated with my feet as I thought. The one time I got the ball and shot it at the goal, I hit Peggy smack in the face. Well, she did her job. Then her nose started bleeding, and I volunteered to walk her to the bleachers and take care of her. Danny, doubled over with laughter, agreed. So Peggy and I didn't make the team. No sweat off my back. I didn't need another mandatory meeting every other day. Wow! Aside from the giant cracks in the walls, this is a cool room.
Well, maybe some other team will take us.
Maybe they'll take you. I think I've had enough of joining.
Oh.
Hey, it was fun to try out. I just don't want to take up too much of my time with sports this year. I'm already tired out from working.
Right. Well, next up, volleyball.
Volleyball? It made total sense for her hyper-personality, but not for her height. Well, let her have her dreams. Since I've come all the way to another country, I should probably spend some time exploring, shouldn't I? Alright.
Cinema. Shop. Restaurant. Theater.
There's a cinema and a theater? Damn.
Books.
I love it. I love that the stores are actually just what they are. I left the hostel and took off down a street, unsure of where I was going, but not really caring. I did this often when I lived in New York. Just wander. Usually I found an interesting shop, or at least ended up with a story to tell. Now, though, I felt completely confused. The streets of London were both very different and not different at all. The air was thinner and it felt better to breathe. When I signed up for this program, I was warned that most Americans would get sick in the first 2 weeks of living in London because of the air pollution. The London smog. Coming from New York City, though, it didn't bother me a bit. I kept noticing the architecture. The older style of buildings reminded me so much of home, but these buildings were cleaner and clearly older. The walkways were broad and clear, and in the business districts, giant plazas filled with people in business suits and sharp English accents. Everything was so similar, but so different. I felt like I was walking through plastic, not really connected to anything I was seeing. In no time, I felt exhausted. I hadn't walked too far, but maybe the stimulation was too much. Or maybe I was still jet-lagged. I collapsed into a cafe seat near a park. Hopefully the owner wouldn't mind too much that I was mooching. They probably got people like me all the time, so I hope they were used to it. As I rubbed my sore neck, something caught my eye. Oh. A young Asian woman with short black hair and thick-rimmed glasses stood over a canvas muttering under her breath. I think she might be our last, love interest, actually. At least, I think it was supposed to be under her breath, but I could hear her from here.
Supposed to capture the light if it keeps moving. I didn't think it would be so.
She seemed frustrated about her painting. I tilted my head a bit to catch more of a glimpse of what she was working on. Rude. It was a stylized landscape of the park. I think. I tilted my head the other way. No, it was a realistic watercolor. Wasn't it? What was she trying to do? Curious, I got up and sidled over to her, hoping I didn't seem too creepy. It didn't make any better sense from this angle, but from the looks of the woman, she was an artist. She had that whole bohemian thing that suggested that for her, it was all about the flow of things, man. Yeah! I glanced at her again and accidentally made eye contact.
What do you think?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I just wanted a better look. I was curious.
What do you think?
It looks... good? I'm a little... What are you trying for here?
I wanted to capture the landscape as I see it.
What does that mean? From your perspective, or...?
Well, yes, from my perspective. Not point of view, not specific location. Well, I mean, yes, a specific location, but also my perspective.
Okay. She had a foreign accent of some sort, but that wasn't the reason that I found her words a bit hard to follow. Actually, there was something familiar about her voice, but I couldn't quite...
What do you feel when you look at this?
Confused. But I would never actually tell her that. It seems a little morose and a little... Maybe... Do you have a lot on your mind? It seems like you're looking for something but not really finding it. That's how I'd put it, I think. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you.
You didn't insult me.
Her tone of voice suggested otherwise, though. She was silent for a bit as I continued to feign interest in her canvas. At this point, the conversation was awkward. I wanted out of there as soon as possible, but couldn't really think of a way to get going. What should I do? This is why I never talk to strangers.
It's cool.
I looked up, startled. Ah! Uh-oh. Well, she got the anime glasses going.
I mean, not everybody gets art, you know. Everybody's got their own place. We all got our own paths, man.
I nodded slowly. Her demeanor seemed to have changed, but I didn't quite know how to feel about it. Oh. How... I gotta look up how to pronounce your name, too. I'm sorry if I butcher it.
I'm Ji-hyo, by the way. If you couldn't tell, I'm not from around here.
Ah, she's Korean. That's why her voice reminded me a little of Jinsu. I wondered if that's why you were like her. Something about her voice seems familiar. I'm Malia. Me neither. I'm from New York and staying in a hostel a few blocks away.
Are you? I am too. Mine's called The One. It's decent enough. It does what I need it to do.
Wait, The One? But that's where I'm staying.
Is it?
Why haven't I seen you around? I've been there for a few days already and I haven't seen you eating with us.
Oh, I've been busy sketching and trying to scout the perfect location. You know, art never sleeps. When I get that drive, I just have to go out and start painting.
How long have you been doing art?
It's hard for me to figure that out. A long time, as long as I can remember. Off and on, I guess. I didn't start seriously pursuing it until a few years ago.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Cool. Super cool, yo.
There it was again. What was that weird tone?
Anyways, I'm gonna be heading back now. The lighting shifted, so I might as well just go work on it at the hostel.
Let me come with you.
Sure, if you say so.
I watched her pack up her massive array of paints, brushes, easel, and canvas into a black bag nearly as big as she was. The only time I'd ever seen people with bags like those was in the movies, so I was kind of surprised. The hostel was only a few blocks away, so we made it in a little under 5 minutes, making fairly polite conversation.
Well, it was nice to meet you, Malia. Maybe I'll see you around some more.
She left before I could think of something better to say than, yeah! As I headed for the bathroom, I realized how hard my heart was pounding. I just sustained an entire conversation with a stranger in London and even made a new friend. What a good day! Did it.